All right, everybody, welcome to The Fight with Teddy Atlas. I'm Teddy Atlas III, joined by my main man, Teddy Atlas. How you doing, bud?
Good, how are you? I thought it was an echo in the room.
No echo, just me. But we're here today at the Berry Homes Gym in Staten Island, New York. We're here for a special fight plan. We're here to dissect the rematch, Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, Undisputed Light Heavyweight Championship of the World.
Doesn't get much better than that. I mean, you know, because you've already had a peak. You already know the first one was so good and so close and had some controversy. You know, a lot of people thought that the wrong guy got it. I didn't. I thought, I love both guys. I have respect for both guys. I thought that they got it right. And the judges, you guys don't get it right too often, quite frankly. The fighters always get it right, always. You guys know. But when you do, I give you credit. You guys got it right the first time. Beterbiev, I thought, won that fight, especially down the championship rounds. But it is the perfect match when you talk about, you know, different styles. We always say in this business, styles make fights. You know, you got an aggressive guy, you got a strong guy, you got a dynamite puncher guy that can knock walls down against a tremendous X's and O's guy, tremendous boxer, a guy who practices the sweet science. You know, let's see now the second time. And the great thing about this is I think of it like movies. You know, when you see a great movie, sometimes you get lucky and the sequel is as good or maybe even better. Godfather 2, it might have even been better than God. It's impossible, but it was right up there with Godfather 1. And Rocky 2, tremendous. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know how many. Not so much. But I think this one, the sequel, can be an Oscar winner with a bloody nose.
All right, we're going to start with the challenger, Dmitry Bivol. What does Dmitry Bivol have to do differently or do more of to come away with the win this time? Yeah,
you know what? You at the end there, you said it right, because he's got to do what he did the first time. He did a lot of good work. I mean, he did pretty damn good. Real close fight. But there's certain things that he does have to tighten up on and correct and learn from. Same thing for Beterbiev when we get to him later on. Because you got to figure that Bivol's going to be better. Beterbiev's going to have to believe that. And of course, Bivol is going to have to go in with that mentality too. I think the first thing is going to take care of itself. That the confidence he gained, just being in there with this monster, the boogeyman, that he found out that, you know, kind of like your kid when you open up, your beautiful grandson I have, when you open up the closet and you show him there's no boogeyman, you know, that, yeah, he's a tough guy, he's there, but he ain't a boogeyman, that you've been in there, you know now things you can do, that you can handle, that maybe you weren't as sure of it as some people would think you are until you do it. So I think that will take care of itself, just the experience of it. And he's got to, for him, it comes down to jab, legs, and angles. Same thing it was the first time. But the problem with the first time was when he moved his legs too much and he wasn't set, just when Beterbiev did a lot of his scoring when he pushed him back where he couldn't be set to punch. This time, he was set pretty good, but this time he's got to make sure he gets rid of those spots where he's pushed backwards, where he's retreating and he's not set to punch, where Beterbiev just has his run of the land, where he can come in, he can steal the late parts of the round, the championship rounds, and he can just keep him defensive. He's got to do that. And he's got to continue doing what he does great. Counterpunching. So let's start with that. He did a great job the first time, Bivol, of countering the jab of Beterbiev. You got to do it again. Got to stay with that. But you might have to trick him into it a little bit more this time, to kind of be the spider bringing the beetle into the parlor. You know, to get him to, you know, bite a little bit with that jab from a distance that you want him. So in other words, you got to draw him in where maybe he'll jab again from a little too close. So what I think he's going to do a little bit here is take a step back, but when he does it, he can stop any way he wants. Take a step back and get Beterbiev to follow him. Get him to follow, stop, and punch. Do it again, just so you guys make sure you watch it. So you start to step back, you go right, stop and counter with that. And add one thing to it. Because we know that this man has a chin made out of rocks of granite. Or maybe granite, maybe it's a new alloy. You know, like I like to change words a little bit. So when you want to add to it, come on in. Bang, 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 bang. You're like, bang, move around and keep it going. Keep the rhythm going. Keep the music playing. If he does that, well, kind of like we just did automatically. You switch places. You see? All of a sudden, Bivol will be on the winning side. Beterbiev will be on the losing side. That was smart, switching places like that. Very clever, very subtle. All right, let's take another look. You need, you know, it takes more than one way to skin a cat, right? That old saying. So let's show another way to skin, well, a warrior, a titan, a guy who's now the solidified champion. Beterbiev. How can Bivol, we already showed one way, here's another way that Bivol can win the rematch. Where, again, I said earlier that it comes down to jab, legs, and angles. He's got to keep him busy with the jab, but he's got to keep him where he can't be set to punch, where his feet are not solid, where they're moving. If he can make him, keep him a little bit off balance, moving his feet, and at the same time, Bivol, be set to punch, he can do work. And you want to do work. All right, you like that saying, do work. We got to do some work here. I think that, again, start with the jab. Bivol will use it to move to his left, move it just to keep him a little off balance, set him up a little bit, then back here, bang! That's a nice little move. Show it again. Yeah, bump, 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 bump. Move back. Set it up with the left, move a little bit to his left, keep him busy, and then switch over. When he looks for the counter by creating the move. Create, move here, keep him off balance, counter with the right hand, and pick up, well, you know, pick up another belt. Or the belt that you lost the first time. He doesn't need a belt. He's, you know, he's perfect. Me, he could use one.
All right, Artur Beterbiev, the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. What does Artur Beterbiev have to do this go around to remain the light heavyweight undisputed champion of the world?
Be the aggressor, be effective aggressor, and a lot of the same what he did the last time. But he's got to figure that he might not have the opportunities that he had the first time because the other guy got better. The other guy's going to take some of that away from him. You know, he won't be as cooperative. He might not have, you know, the opportunity to steal the later rounds or to grab the championship rounds or to, you know, catch him in front of him to the body and hurt him the way he did, which was great. To give him the championship rounds because when he went to the body, he persuaded, that will persuade you, he persuaded Bivol to stand in front of him a little because his legs wouldn't cooperate, and he was able to get his way the way he wanted on the inside and win those championship rounds. He was, again, he was able to push back Bivol in spots where he could keep him defensive. So he's got to understand the things that Bivol did well and the things that he did well that, again, some of it might not be given to him as freely. So he's got to be ready to create other opportunities too. One of the things that we're going to start with is that he's got to take away that counter right hand from Bivol. Man, Bivol did a good job. You know, luckily he's got an iron chin, but he did a good job with that counter right hand over his jab. So let's start with that. One of the things that Beterbiev, well, he ate a lot of right hands off the counter. When he drew the jab sometimes from a little too close, and the right hand was able to catch him. He threw from here, he got caught with the right hand. Yep. I know you don't want to hit your father, but it's okay. We can do it here. So he threw the jab, he got caught with the right. So now what he should do is he understands that that's still going to be part of the arsenal for Bivol. What he should do now is feint the jab. draw the right hand, hop, hop, pop, and counter with the left hook. Makes sense. Again, just, you know he's going to look to counter your jab, so pop, pop, pop. Feint it, get it out of the way, counter with the left hook. If he can do that, well, you know, he won't be doing this later. All right, Beterbiev, you know, you gotta have more than one trick up your sleeve or one offensive, you know, opportunity. Let's give him another one. That I think he showed how good he is at doing this, and it's almost subtle. In the 7th round, that was you were there with me and Sorty, sitting ringside, and it looked like Bivol was taking control of the fight. A little bit, you know, boxing, counterpunching, using his leg, because he was winning the early part of the fight. And then Beterbiev started coming on, which he does. The pressure starts to weigh you down. The body punching starts to weigh you down. Taking air out of the tires, all that stuff. But in the 7th round, it looked like it was going to be a big round for Bivol. Boxing, pop, 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 moving, pop, 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 counterpunching, doing everything. And then all of a sudden, he got a little greedy, a little careless. You know, it's great to throw combinations, but you got to know how many you got time for. You throw 3, beautiful, pop, 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 move. And sometimes 4, pop, 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 beautiful, whatever. I don't know if it's 4 or 5. I never did good in math. But sometimes you throw 1 too many, maybe 5. And there was one spot in the 7th round where he was throwing a nice combination after having a great beginning of the round, and he threw 1 too many. And Beterbiev showed that he's more than just a seek and destroy monster. He's smart. He's cerebral. He is too. He has boxing abilities too. Even though he does it in such an aggressive way that sometimes we don't give him credit for it. But we should. And his opponents do, because they're the ones getting hit. What he does is, as someone's throwing, just throw a few punches. As someone's pop, pop, he just, as you throw, pop, he'll just time you. He'll punch with you. Well, here's one that I like to do, where I call it riding the rails. Say it this way a little bit more, get a better camera angle. Where when the jab is coming, you slip and you slide your right hand parallel with the jab. You ride the rails. Whoa, see that? That's beautiful. It's not so beautiful if you get hit with it, but I think it's beautiful. This is the sweet science in an aggressive way, in a harsh way, but it's the sweet science. You know, boom. So you time him. As he's punching, boom, you punch right with him with that right hand. And if you do that, well, you will once again be the undisputed champion of the world, like him. He's undisputed. He's the undisputed son in the world, for me.
All right, everybody. Now that we did the fight plan on both ends to see what the fighters need to do to win the fight, it's prediction time. We have Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, Beterbiev minus 130, Bivol even money. Who do you like, and do you think we may see a knockout this time around?
Well, as far as a knockout, both these guys, you know, they're so tough mentally. I mean, that's the thing where people really came up short, I think, in a lot of ways when they were looking at kind of breaking this fight down the first time. Everyone knew how aggressive and how strong and what a puncher Beterbiev is, and you know how just relentless he is. But I don't think because of the style of Bivol, they realized how strong mentally Bivol also is. He is. And that, you know, that will be in play again. And because of that, on both sides, obviously you don't need Teddy Atlas to tell you. Chances are it goes rounds. But you never know with guys that, one guy who's that kind of power puncher, the other guy who's that accurate and a good combination puncher. And don't forget, you know, Beterbiev is getting up there a little bit in age, and he's been in a lot of tough fights, he's been cut. You never know if scar tissue could be opened up, and it doesn't have to be a a traditional knockout where a guy goes down. It could be a stoppage, you know, because of cuts or stuff like that. So it's never completely out of the possibility, but you would still go in here saying, no, these guys, they're warriors. They're going to find a way to go rounds. You know, it's going to be hard not to. As far as the winner, we touched on everything. I think the things that we needed to, for these great people, the fans. But I think it does come down to Bivol possibly just being a little better. And I don't mean only better technically, where, you know, he gets rid of those spots where he was moving backwards too much and he wasn't set to punch, and where he gave up his body in the late rounds where he was able, where Beterbiev was able to catch him and then get him to stand in front of him more than he should have in those championship rounds. I think it's more than that. I just think that it's internally that Bivol is that kind of guy mentally, like Beterbiev, proud, warrior, you know, and I think that his pride, just like Beterbiev's, but it will be at play, and he will just be a little bit more sure of himself in areas where going in, he didn't have all the answers. You know, he thought he did maybe, but you never know if you have the answers till you take the test. Then you find out, okay, yep, I got there. You know, then you know. And I think that he's got answers that he wasn't really sure he had the first time. I think that'll make a difference. I think at the end of the day, you know, and full transparency, I take pride in that. The first time I picked Bivol, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was the first one to say Beterbiev. I didn't play that game. Oh yeah, Beterbiev, you know, got a gift. No, he won the fight. I thought Bivol would win the first time. I do think he's going to win the second time. And I love both guys. And you can make an argument. We did it. We made an argument for, that's what makes a great fight. You can make an argument for both guys. And we made a nice argument for both guys. You know, Beterbiev's getting a little older. Maybe that helps Bivol. But Beterbiev also had more time to repair the knee, you know, to rehab the knee that had been repaired. That's, you know, maybe that benefits him. At the end of the day, I'm going with the old analogy. You take the test the second time, you already get the answers. Now you go in there and you just ace that test. I'm gonna say another great fight, another warrior type fight with two warriors in different ways of their approaches. But Bivol, he aces the test this time. He gets an A+. He got an A last time. But against this guy, you need an A+. Just like with you. With me, I gotta have an A+ anytime I'm around this guy. You gotta. I mean, otherwise, you're in trouble.